Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today we're going to focus on a card for the guys. I always find it difficult to think of guy cards, but I've got some birthdays coming up for the fellas in my family, and so this is one I've put together for them. So I've used nice masculine colours with textures. Ooh, there's a bit of a dimensional there, and I've got my textures from the In Good Taste DSP, and when you look, there's all sorts of lovely sort of tile textures, wood textures, fabric textures. This one here, and the one I chose to use here is a fabric texture, and I have a piece here. If you flip it over, it's got wood on the back, but I like the fact that this is kind of almost like, it's like knitted, and like a nice cozy knitted effect. So let me share with you how it all goes together. So I'm using soft suede, and this is 11 by 4¼ and if you check below my video, you'll see a link to my blog, and the recipe will be on there. And then I'm simply going to attach a piece of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper onto the front. And I like to use the liquid adhesive, but you can use Stampin' Seal or any kind of runner, tape runner, or maybe like a glue stick. So then for my decorative pieces, well, this piece of designer series paper was actually like 12 by 6, and I had to cut off 3/4 of an inch to make it fit on my card front, and I couldn't bear to waste this piece, so I'm flipping it over so onto the wood effect. And so this is now 3/4 by 4, and I'm going to attach it to some of the lovely metallic brushed cardstock. Now I'm using liquid glue again, but because this is a shiny surface, I'm going to have to leave it to just sort of stick or set for a few moments. And while I do that, I'm going to share with you this lovely metallic cardstock. So basically it's I don't know whether you call it bronze or gold or what, but anyway, it's kind of a bronzy goldy set of colors, and you get like a light gold, a really dark one, and a medium sized one, and you get 2 sheets of 12 by 12, so it goes a really long way. Okay, so I'm thinking that that's probably stuck by now, which is good. So I am using the Bumblebee ribbon. I don't see a problem with using yellow on a featherless card, but I just thought it would give it a little bit of a lift. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a glue dot on one end. This is kind of a bit, this takes a few steps, and I'm just going to attach it to the back of this unit here, and I'm going to cut off a length, and I'm going to just cut a little corner off of here, and I'm using these lovely antiqued corners and slides. And so you get, there's some slides and corners, just as the label says. You just need to make sure that you choose the right side of your slide. This has kind of got like a bit of a frame effect, whereas the back is sort of flat. So I'm gonna feed my piece of ribbon through the buckle like this, and just slide it, and then I'm going to pop another glue dot on the other end of that piece of ribbon, and just double check that it's kind of centered. There we go. And just pinch it really firmly to hold it in place. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. I'm going to put one on each of the corners, one in the middle, and that should be enough, like that. And I'm just taking the back off here, and I'm going to attach it to my card. I think I'll put it this way this time. And I'm just lining it up with the edges of the designer series paper, like that. Press firmly. And then the other elements in this pack are these lovely metal corners. So I'm going to take a couple of them, and I'm just going to put a glue dot on the back, and I'm just going to stick them in that bottom corner of the card. And I'm really pushing very, very firmly just to make sure that it sticks good and true. Right. Oh, I got my glue dot not quite in my on the back. It's hanging out, so I'll just use my nail to push that back in. Okay, so really, really firmly. So a little bit of stamping, not a huge amount. I'm using a couple of stamp sets. I'm taking the Happy Birthday from the Here's a Card stamp set here. Great stamp set, got lots of lovely different types of greetings. And then I'm also taking the Textured Essentials. And because I've got texture on my paper here and texture in my ribbon, I thought I would just use one of my textured stamps just to give some texture to the inside of the card as well as the envelope. So, excuse me, I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Oops, that's something falling on the floor. And I have the inside of my card here, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm gonna start by just stamping this inside, and I'm going to use a stamping off technique. I'm using early espresso, and it's a bit on the strong side for what I want to do here, so I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and then I'm just going to gently stamp off some of the excess ink, and then I'm just going to pop it on my card like that. So that's the card, and then I'm going to do the same with my envelope. So again, ink up gently. I'm only just gently tapping the ink. I'm not really pressing hard at all, and just stamp off on my piece of scratch paper and then onto my envelope. Perfect. Okay. And for my greeting, I'm using the Happy Birthday, as I said, and a scrap of very vanilla cardstock. And that's all my stamping done now. And my punch is the Label Me Fancy punch. Now you'll see that there's a label here, but there's also, you can cut out a slot or a hole so that you can actually make like a tag. You can put some thread through it and it'll create a tag. But I don't want those, and I don't want to waste the cardstock when it punches out. So I find that if you take a strip of cardstock and you stamp on the length, then when you go to put it in your punch, like this, it's too narrow for the slot and the hole to be punched there. So you don't waste any cardstock. Now, if I did want a hole punched into it, then I would go back in and just line it up and punch a hole in it that way. Now I also are using some of this lovely metallic card to punch a layer. So I'm using the tailored tag punch here. I'm just going to cut out a piece. And then again, I'm going to use my liquid adhesive, and it will take a few moments for it to dry and adhere firmly, securely onto that. So I'm sticking it on now like that, and I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of this one. And let that dry for a few moments while I stick in the liner for my card. Now, when I'm using my liquid glue, I'm not pressing very hard. I'm not squeezing the bottle very hard. So you can see I'm kind of just getting like a little trail of adhesive, and that's more than enough. I try to keep it away from the edges of the card, and that way it won't sort of squish out onto my card base and make a sticky mess. And then I have my greeting, and let me see. So the other cards I did one at the top. I did them at the top here. So maybe what I'll do with this one is I'll put it toward the bottom on this one. And just to keep bringing the colour through, I've got some of the in colour enamel dots, and I'm going to use the bumblebee ones again. I'm going to pop it on like that. And there we are. A really super card for the fellas in your life. Do me a favour. Give me a thumbs up at the for my video, and hit that subscribe button, and then you'll know when I release new videos. Thank you for joining me today. I certainly appreciate it. Bye for now.